Hello, this is Mark from I Am Organic Gardening, located in Zone 6B in the state of New Jersey, and welcome to my 22-acre farm and also part 2 of how to grow nutrient-dense fruits and vegetables. So let's go into some further details about how this process is done. But first, I'd like to introduce you to this new gadget that's going to be coming out in the future, hopefully. Now, what this is a bionutrient meter, which is a nice name for a spectrometer. Now, what this does, it will take a sample of any food that you have, and you can click or introduce it to the machine or even scan across it, and it will tell you the nutrient value of the produce that you're buying, or in my case, how nutrient dense that product is before I sell it. And what this does, this handheld device that's about the size of a cell phone, works on the principle of a spectrometer. Now what this does is measures the wavelength that bounces off. Now it will send a flash out to the vegetable that you wish to scan, and it will bounce off not a signal but just a light process or light source, and it will bounce that off and then come back to the eye of this camera. Now what every nutrient has or mineral has inside the item that you're scanning has a different wavelength per each item or nutrient that's in there, and this will give an analysis of it and then tell you how nutrient dense your vegetable is. Now this is a nice game changer, because what we're learning over the years is that our fruits and vegetables are declining, and meats too are declining in nutritional value. And this in turn will help growers grow more nutrient-dense vegetables, healthier food, people become healthier, and it just proceeds on and on and on from there, which is a good value for everybody for our health. This item is being currently funded by private individuals, and hopefully that they can raise enough money, and now this way that there would be no, let's say, oversight by bigger agricultural companies or other influences on this, and their purpose is simply to make people healthier on this planet. So this is the process how plants extract the minerals that they need from the soils around them, the sand, silt, and clays. So first, we are going to take our living plant, which is green above the soil surface, and our roots below, takes in CO2 out of the atmosphere. Photosynthesis occurs, converts the sugars to amino acids and other compounds. A portion of that is translocated to the root systems, and that's exuded into the soil. And what's exuded into the soil is what we call exudates. Here we have a very up-close picture of a root tip exuding exudates into the soil. This is what it actually looks like. That amazing plant exudates that you just saw coming from the root tip, a large part of this is consumed by the microbes around that in the soil. Now also a part of that is converted with carbonic acid. That carbonic acid is mixed with water, and this mild acid breaks down rocks, organic matter, etc. That's your sand, silt, and clay that's in your soil. It will break that down, helping to make nutrients available for the plant. So that's why it's very important to try to keep your soil covered all the time, so you have moisture in that soil that can mix with that carbonic acid to help the plant grow. Here we have a diagram of the soil food web. Now we're just discussing this one little part right here so far, where the plants bring in sunlight and puts exudates into the soil. Now I'd like to introduce you to two farmers that are first generation farmers. The first person here is Gabe Brown. He's a farmer rancher from Bismarck, North Dakota. And the other farmer is Russell Hendrick. He has a farm in Hickory, North Carolina. So since both of them are first generation farmers, they had to learn the trade. So they went to older farmers or asked around what they can, what needs to be done. Now they kept an open mind because they started failing and their input costs were just way too much. So they proceeded to go down different avenues and ask a lot more questions. Now this is the way that they started growing soil back. and they are independent now, that they don't have to use any pesticides. They don't have to use any herbicides. They don't have to add any minerals or nutrients to their soil. They only have to do is keep a living root in the ground all the time. So what the picture is in front of you is one of the cover crops that they grow, and they change from year to year depending on varieties that are available. But in this one, you'll see is that they have the winter rye growing, and then the purple flower there, the bluish purple flower, is hairy vetch, and they have some field peas or Australian field peas in there. They have some crimson clover and a couple other things, but they just keep a living root in the ground. Now, what they plant this in the fall, and then come spring times, they crimp it down or they roll it. And this is what it looks like when they roll that cover crop down before they start planting. Now, even sometimes what they have done over the years, and they've perfected their skill a lot better, they can actually roll that grass down or the cover crop down when it's green and plant right into it. And I'll show you a picture of that. Here's a great example how tall that cover crop is before they roll it. Now here they're doing both things. They're rolling down the cover crop, the winter rye and all the other seeds that they planted. And also on the right hand side of the tractor on your screen here is where they're planting. What it does also too, the planter in the back has a large disc in it, and that cuts through all that vegetation, that green vegetation, after it's rolled down, and they can actually plant into the soil below it. So they're doing both things again at the same time, and they get perfect corn yields each year with no chemical fertilizers or any other amendments added, whether it's organic or not organic, and no pesticides and no herbicides, and they've been doing it for years. I just want to show this because it's proof that these people are doing an awesome job just following nature's guidance. And if you're saying to yourself right now, well, they have really good soil. No, they do not. Now, this is what the soil looks like that they're planting into. This is North Carolina soil, and it is just an abundance of sand and clay mixed together, and it's hard and it's compact and it dries out. So no matter what size your vegetable garden is, whether it's 4 feet by 4 feet or 4 feet by 50 feet, or you have up to 10 acres or more, now what it all comes down to is this process can be used in all those situations. Again, it doesn't matter on the size of the garden you have. I will also provide links below to both of the farmers that I mentioned before, Gabe Brown and Russell Hendrick. They have very lengthy and educational videos on YouTube, and a lot of the photographs I showed you are from Gabe Brown and also Russell. Now, also to go further on this is another gentleman brought up a very good point, and I also agree with it, and I wanted to get to this, is that when we have our bees that come in and need to pollinate, now it's very important, if our food isn't nutrient dense, wouldn't it be that our nectar or the pollen is not as nutrient dense as it should be also too? So we have to provide the best type of situation to everything that's out there also too. That's why it's so very important to go further and understand how to grow nutrient dense food. I want to thank you very much for watching today's video. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe. And again, if you can hit that like button, it will definitely help out my channel in the future. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again shortly with part 3.